There's a quote from one of my favorite philosophers and writers, David Foster Wallace. It goes something along the lines like, hip, cynical transcendence of sentiment is really some kind of fear of being human. Because to be human is to be sentimental, goo-prone, and generally pathetic. And of course, I'm probably misquoting a bit, but really what this says is essentially, if you are trying to live the maximum human experience of sentimentality, if you're trying to feel and experience love in your life, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. And this is a very scary thing. And now the initial point of that quote, hip, cynical transcendence of sentiment, is, well, the cynic exists at the top of the comical and social hierarchy in today's media. People think being cynical, being ironic, and post-ironic even, and post-ironic is simply the way to do things in life. And well, it's a bit short-sighted because cynics are annoying. Cynics, they devour all the joy from their environment. Everything is problematic for them. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to brood in this obsessive disdain for all things ooey gooey and cute. You want to be able to watch Sanford and Son, and in the sad scenes you want to cry, and the lovely scenes you want to smile and laugh. That is the first thing you must overcome to be sentimental. But then there's another demon knocking on the door, and that other demon is anxiety. Because to be sentimental, to really allow yourself to feel, is to allow yourself to be vulnerable. And evolution has taught us that we should not be vulnerable, right? If you're vulnerable, you put yourself at risk of death. But also evolution has taught us that we should tactically be vulnerable. So how are you tactically vulnerable? Well, you go to the cave to shag. You pee in a bush, keep your eyes open for the enemy as you're taking a poop. But in regards to romance in the modern era, you have your safety guards, right? And people must overcome those safety guards before you allow yourself to be open to them. But I think we've come to a point in society, especially in the West, we have just too many barriers up in the way between our joy, our love, that causes basically this loneliness epidemic that we have today, where people have all these requirements you must overcome. And then on top of that, they're existing in spaces where there just isn't a lot of room for you to meet new people or to be exposed to new experiences with new people. So you have all these barriers in place, you're meeting less people, and no one's quite open. So you're lonely, we're all lonely. And so this might be the hardest hurdle. Being a cynic, you can overcome this. Well, easier for some than others. But once you get to that next demon, you have to really fight it. You have to put yourself in a situation, first of all, where you're exposed to new people. Second of all, you need to do something. You need to have a trigger, a switch within you to allow yourself to be vulnerable, to allow yourself to feel pain and joy. Because at the end of the day, as the quote says, to be really human, you must allow yourself to be exposed to pain and joy. You aren't truly living unless you're feeling that pain and joy. Your only other option is just to be lonely, to be sad and lonely, and to never experience anything. I'd rather have a life full of pain and joy than a life full of nothing, right? Just a bunch of what ifs. So what do? I actually have quite a bit of anxiety from my time in war and some past relationships that didn't work out very well. But I have my methods to overcome that anxiety. Like maybe I have some anxiety about approaching a person I find interesting. What I do is I kind of count down in my head from 10. And when I get down to 1, I just walk up to that person and I tell them what I think. And, you know, they either say yes or no. This is a really quick way to overcome this anxiety. If you just approach everyone that you seem interested in all the time, you're going to become a bit more like calloused. Not really callous, because that kind of implies that you're numb, but you're going to be immune to that anxiety that strikes you when you're trying to, you know, put yourself out there. You're going to be capable of allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to be exposed. And through practice, you're going to be okay with the idea. It's like getting injected with a needle for the first time. It's very scary. And the second time, it's less scary. And the 10th time, you know the deal, you know the routine. It's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna be easy, but it's not gonna kill you. This is the behavior that you need to get yourself involved with. This is the mindset you need to overcome, to have. It takes time. It's not easy, but it's what must be done for you to live a full life. But nevertheless, I'm gonna practice what I preach, and I'm going to a festival today, and I'm going to expose myself to people. It sounds very creepy. I'm going to allow myself to be vulnerable, meet new people, hang out with friends, and hopefully make some amazing experiences. I hope you do too. Cheers.